Hey, what's up, world? I'm Kat Harvey, and today's segment is extremely exciting. I have one of my favorites here with me. I actually met her a couple of months ago, like a lot of you guys. I grew up on meat, pork, pepperoni, hamburgers, and now, watching the What the Health documentary, I don't want to eat those things anymore because not only has it killed family and friends of mine, but I just want to live healthy and longer and not be, hooked on a machine or any of these things. So I had to bring in the expert herself, the one and only, the beautiful, the lady in red, the certified holistic nutritionalist, Dr. Ruby Lathon. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks so much for coming.
Sure.
So, to get started, can you tell people, what it is exactly what you do and what's the difference between being a regular, nutritionalist and then, being what you're doing now?
Sure. So I do holistic nutrition. So basically teaching people how to use food to heal. So generally when you get a nutrition plan, it's really more about, what are you trying to accomplish? Weight loss or something. This is how many carbs. This is what you need to eat. Here's a menu plan. And that's great. But what my focus is on complete lifestyle. So when I talk about holistic, we delve into factors that affect your health, like stress, exercise, meditation, and food, and then recommending food that not only helps meet those goals, but really helps you to heal. So how to use food to heal.
Yeah. So with that being started, what's the process like when somebody, who, as you know, grew up on meat, you've probably grown up on meat yourself, going from that point to, cutting out the meats, like what's the best process to not like go crazy and,
Right.
get out of order with, with your body's used to?
Yeah, it's different for everyone. A lot of people just go cold turkey.
Yeah.
And that's fine because you reap results really quickly. And so really the main thing is to have enough recipes and a plan for what you're going to eat instead. Usually people tend to fail when they just say, I'm not going to eat any meat, and they have no idea what they're going to eat instead. So then they're like, I just have salad, and I just have smoothies, and then they're like, I can't do this, I'm hungry all the time.
Yes,
and then they fall off the wagon like that. So you have to have a plan. It does require, because if you've grown up eating a certain thing for most of your life, you have go-tos. Now you have to have new go-tos, and you have to figure out what those are going to be, and they need to taste good too.
Okay. So if you're having like a group of friends at your house and it's a Sunday or Saturday event, what are some of the party cool food would you give somebody, even if they're used to eating meat, that they'll feel comfortable with?
Right. So a lot of the traditional stuff, you can just do vegan versions of it.
Okay.
So if we're doing like a summer thing, we still do potato salad. I always do like a bean dip, black bean dip instead of like your traditional ranch. But you can even do a vegan ranch. You can buy that at the store. So you can just swap some things out and people don't even, notice the difference.
Yeah.
You can do, veggie burgers, veggie dogs.
Yeah, I like those. Okay.
And some are better than others. You just have to do a little trial and error and see what you like. Let's see, party food. Lots of little kebabs, veggie kebabs that you can grill that taste really good. And you can either put tofu on it or not. Some people are like, tofu. But tofu can be good if you know how to season it. So it's just really about, for a lot of people, maybe quote veganizing some of your favorites so you're not so far off of what you're used to, and then you go from there.
Now talk about. I tried the Gardein products, which are really like that saved me because I'm like I can't eat salad all the time.
Yeah.
So is that bad for you, or should you have that in moderation? Okay.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I think moderation is the key when it comes to some of the meat replacements. And I think they're fine because, like you said, if you're brand new and you're used to eating sausage and turkey for breakfast and you're eating, turkey slices for lunch, you can find those alternatives plant-based in the store, and I think that's great to use those. But then I also advocate moving toward more of a whole food diet. So I see it as a transition food to get you off the meat, eating things that are full of fiber and good stuff, but it's still a little processed, so I wouldn't do it every day.
Okay.
I would kind of merge toward more natural. There's There's tempeh, that is a natural form of soy that's minimally processed and it's fermented, so it's great for the digestive system. Great overall, high in protein, and you can make it taste however you want.
So you can season it like chicken?
You can.
Okay.
It's more of a ground beef type texture. So, but yeah, you got to season it because it's like a blank slate.
Yeah.
So if you put nothing on it, you're going to be tasting nothing.
Right. Don't want that. Don't want that.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So talk about the supplements. Like, so what supplements do people need to take now that if they're transitioning to not eating meat? And what's the dangers of, like a lot of people don't talk about that. From the documentary, I learned that, you got to take some type of supplement since you're not taking, the meat anymore.
Right. So a lot of people are deficient in a couple of things, even meat eaters like vitamin D3. We all need that. So that's always something I recommend to people because it's a hormone. Without that, a lot of other things don't get activated. Specifically more for a vegan diet, I would recommend a whole food multivitamin. Because it gets your micronutrients in and trace minerals and things that you might miss. It also gets in B12. B12 is important because that one tends to be a little harder to get on a completely plant-based diet. Your digestive system actually makes B12, but not everybody's optimal. So you do need to take a supplement. So either a multivitamin that consists of B12 or taking B12. And those are the basics. And then everything else is really depending on the individual, what they need from there. And then eating well-rounded, you can't just eat the same thing day in and day out.
That's
you got to eat the colors. It has to be well-rounded, and then you tend to get your things in. But there are things like omega-3 fatty acids that are important to get in, and you get those in like hemp seeds and chia seeds and flax seeds and walnuts and almonds, things like that. So if you're eating healthy, you get it in. But if you're not, it's something you need to maybe supplement with. A lot of people have used fish oil for that, but I recommend using an algae-based, plant-based, because fish get omega-3 from eating algae. It's not just inherent in the fish. So when you're taking a fish oil, you're getting it second, third, or fourth hand, maybe from a fish that ate a fish that ate algae. So why not get it firsthand, more pure, none of the contamination, and that's the same omega-3, the DHA that people are looking for.
Okay, and then talk about the benefits, with using the bathroom. I'm not going to say which number it is, but, the benefits of that because, I've used the bathroom, but I mean, it's like, I'm like, dude, I just want to, can I make it home, in my own privacy? Talk about the benefits and that alone.
Yeah, that is huge. Almost everybody says, I am so regular now. And I'm like, that is great because we need to be regular. Generally, we should be going to the bathroom as many times as we eat in a day. And I know some people say, I don't even go every day. I'm like, that's really an unhealthy condition to be in because you need to be eliminating as many times as you're eating. And so because you're taking in so much more fiber, because you're eating all plant foods have fiber, meat and dairy don't have any fiber. So now you're replacing things that had zero fiber with things that are full of fiber. That's going to make you go more regular. You're eating hopefully more raw fruits and vegetables. That's going to make you go, and that going eliminates toxins. When it sits there too long, more than 24, 36 hours, toxins start reabsorbing into your system, and starting to cause chronic illnesses. So going is important.
Yes, it is.
And it's easier to go.
Yeah.
It's easier.
You're not in there all day.
It's faster. You don't need the book. It's you get in, get out,
right,
and call it a day.
So what was the process? Tell us your story as far as why you started this whole holistic eating process and, becoming certified and a doctor. So what made you do that?
Well, yeah, I started out, my PhD was actually in engineering, and I was an engineer. And then when I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, I decided that I was going to just start researching natural methods of healing cancer because I had heard of other people doing it just in passing. And my only alternative that was given to me was to have surgery and then to remove the thyroid and then be on medication forever. And I just didn't like that idea of being dependent on a medication to live.
And how long was that ago?
That was 2007 when I was diagnosed.
So 10 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started researching and I found I was open to whatever. I didn't have an agenda. I was like, what heals cancer? I'm going to find out. I started asking everyone I knew and doing my own research, and I saw more and more about how plant-based plant-based diets, whole food diets can heal the body because it boosts the immune system, gives the body what it needs to heal, and your body heals itself. And so I developed a nutrition plan, researched supplements to take, and just a lot of trial and error, and came up with a final plan. This is what I'm going to do until I'm healed. And it worked. And all I changed was what I ate, supplements that I took, meditation, visualization, and the cancer was gone in a year.
Oh my God, that's
a year
powerful.
later.
So name some of the myths of meat, because I know I've been actually 3 weeks with no meat, and I got a lot of backlash. You know, I just went to my girlfriend's cookout yesterday. She's like, "You don't want these meatballs, these chicken wings, and you know, and we're gonna die anyway. So you know, I'm going out with a bang. You know, those types of things. What do you have to say to people that have that mindset that, you know, of course we're gonna die, but not to be ignorant about how you leave this earth?"
Right. We all are going to die, but we get to determine how we're going to die and how we're going to go out for the most part. And so the studies do show that people who switch to or eat a plant-based diet live longer than those who don't, an average of 7 or more years. But not only that, they live better, healthier, so better years. So with less disease, less ailments, less blood pressure, cancer, and all these other things. So it's not about just lengthening your life. It is about improving your life right now. So the difference between, you know, probably my body on a plant-based diet versus my body on a meat-based diet, I'd probably have a lot more ailments. I probably wouldn't have the energy. I probably wouldn't feel as good. People, when they switch, they always talk about the clarity they get, the energy they get. They feel better. They're just little ailments. Asthma, eczema clears up. Things that we think we just have to live with, they tend to go away. So it's not just about longevity, which is big, but it's about overall improvement in life right now, so that you're around without dealing with all these chronic diseases and kidney failures and all these things that we think are hereditary. Like I used to think that diabetes and other things were hereditary, so I was just afraid that, you know, I might get this, and that's not the case. It's usually passed down in families because we eat the same way. We have the same lifestyle. We share the same recipes. And so I started taking like my mom's recipes that were really good and just veganizing them, you know, and now they're great.
Like what? Like what?
Like my favorite, everybody loves her barbecue meatballs, barbecue pecan meatballs. And so they had dairy in them and eggs in them. So I just took that out and replaced it with vegan versions of that. Everybody loves them. And people think it's meat. They're like, "This is the most tender meat I've ever had. What did you do?" I was like, "I left that out." That's what I did.
Yeah.
So it's really, and so it's about taking, like, you know, that lifestyle change from her mother to her, now to me, and just making it healthier, still using the same flavor and seasoning, but now making it something that nourishes the body.
Okay, so people that are interested, let's say for somebody who wants to become a client, what makes you different from anyone else?
I think it's really the approach about looking at overall lifestyle, because what I have noticed during my healing process, that I had to deal with things like stress, deal with maybe negative relationships in order to really heal, because stress really wreaks havoc on the body. So it's hard for someone to heal from cancer or something else if they have a very bad relationship they're dealing with, or if they have overwhelming stress or some financial thing they're not dealing with. We have to look at that and say, how are we going to manage this? How are we going to release this stress? How are we going to do this in order to put your body in a nice alkaline state so that it can heal? So it's a more overall and therapeutic approach than just getting a nutrition plan that says, you know, here's how many calories to eat a day, which is helpful for some people, but a lot of people need more than that.
Yeah. And then you were featured in the What the Health documentary. What made you say yes to that project?
Well, just knowing the type of work that the filmmakers do. They did the film Cowspiracy, which talked about, you know, diet and the environment. And so I know the type of work they were doing, and I thought, you know, focusing on health and really highlighting the health benefits of a plant-based diet, because there are many benefits. The health benefits are huge. Let's talk about that, and let's talk about why it's not being promoted as it should. So I was excited I'm always happy to share my story and help maybe inspire other people to take a look. There's something better out there.
Yeah. And then what got me, it was a lot of things that got me in that documentary. I think that one of the biggest things were how we grew up on the whole food chart, and how the government emphasized how we need to have meat. That's at the bottom and it's the biggest. And then so out of all the meats, if somebody, let's say somebody doesn't want to go vegan or vegetarian, but they want to use you, is there like a meat that would you suggest them to like stay away from?
Yeah, well, it's like this. It's like, where do you want to go on your spectrum of health? If you want best health, here's what it is. So if you want to continue to eat meat, but you want to know what are the best meats to eat, it's fine. I can work with you. I mean, obviously there's, all meats have saturated fat and cholesterol.
Of course.
We know pork is probably, has more toxins than others, but it's not that much better than beef. It's not much better than chicken at all. So
what about salmon?
That's not much better either. The saturated fat and cholesterol is really just a few percentage points beneath red meat. So it has the added mercury and PCBs that we get from in the ocean water and things like that you cannot avoid. So you can't outdo the mercury. You can only eat small amounts of that because you're going to get it in whether it's wild caught or farm raised. So there are better, there's organic, slightly better, but you're still getting some of the things that cause disease. So it would be, let's eat less of that, period. And some people like to step down, and that's fine. They're like, I'm going to leave off the pork and red meat, and then I'm going to start working on turkey and chicken. If that's your path, that's great. Anytime you're eating less, the better, and then start, merging over and changing the mindset, because it's really about education.
It is.
And when you understand what it does to your body, then you don't want it as much. That's for me. Cheese was a big thing. I was like, I'm like a cheeseaholic. I don't think I can ever give up cheese. But once I understood how it causes inflammation in the body and how this milk is produced, I stopped wanting it because I was like, I don't want to cause that reaction in my body. I don't want to be feeding myself kind of pus and things like that come with it. And I would remind myself of the negative effects of it, and eventually my mindset changed. I didn't want it anymore. And I found super healthy alternatives that tasted incredible. So then I was like, I can still have grilled cheese if I want to.
Yeah.
So I'm not missing out. So it's really about a mindset change and how healthy do you want to be?
Yeah. So what about your friends and family, being that you come from a black family and, Thanksgiving, I'm sure they got the pork and all that type of thing. Were they laughing at you a lot? Like, how did you do you have a problem educating them? Like, hey, put that down.
My family is a little unique in that we grew up primarily vegetarian, but we were, not necessarily the healthiest vegetarian. There was a lot of cheese and milk and things like that. But when we would go to dinner at, let's say, my grandparents' house and things like that, and they have all that you're talking about, my mom would bring all of our vegetarian stuff. And at first it's a joke, but then everybody tastes it. And now they're eating up all our stuff. And we're like, wait a minute, you can't eat ours because we cannot eat yours.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So once they're exposed to it, and my mom's like an incredible cook, which I inherited some of that, then it tastes good. Then the joke is no longer there because they're like, I want some of that, you know? That's good. Happens all the time. I'll be at a restaurant and I'll ask for the vegetarian option or something. Everybody's looking at my plate like, that looks good.
Yeah, right.
It happens a lot. So it's really about exposure. And you're going to take some hits of jokes and this, that, and the other, and rabbit food. And I've heard that a million times, but I get over it. And I know that, I encourage people to keep a lighthearted stance about it and not try to force your lifestyle on other people, but just lead by example. And when I switched my diet to, plant-based 100%, my parents joined in as well and reaped benefits from that of going, vegan. So, they will follow your lead, and I was never one to beat someone over the head with it, but I did go to their cabinets and clean it out.
Right. I'm about to say.
All the junk, I was like, you can't have this in here.
So what do you have to say to people that, I used to be one of those people like, man, I'm not paying $12 for that organic chicken or the plant-based soy, like people that don't want to invest in food but yet they spend that same money in some Jordans or the new Coach purse. Like, what do you have to say to those people that's out there?
It's really about priorities and understanding what's going on here, because you do pay on the front end or you pay on the back end, because those same people end up on 5 medications to lower their cholesterol and to lower their blood pressure, and you're paying for that. Not only in money, but you're paying for it in it breaking down your body. So I don't have any problem with paying more for organic food or healthy food, because I know I'm my number one investment. You know, my body, if I don't have that, what do I have? So it's really about shifting the thought process on that and seeing what's really important, but also finding ways to cut corners. You know, there are, you know, in the health food stores, there are bulk sections where you can buy your beans, your rice, and things that are much cheaper than buying the packaged products.
That's true.
And going to farmers market and getting fresh produce, you know, so there's ways to keep your costs reasonable and eat healthy at the same time.
Okay, and what about nuts?
Nuts are great. They should be raw, unsalted.
Okay.
Because when you put the salt and extra oil, people tend to eat way too many.
That's true.
And they're adding additional fat, and nuts already have good healthy fat. We don't need to add anything else to it. So that's a critical part of a good diet, is eating small amounts of nuts, seeds. They're great. You know, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, almonds, walnuts, all those are great.
Okay, and I know people want to see you in action, and we have Miss Dr. Ruby loves the color red. As you guys can see, this is her show, The Veggie Chest. So can you talk about this and why people need to watch and see that, you know, they can still have the meat flavoring without the meat and so forth? Yes.
Yeah, because it's all about the flavor. Nobody eats unflavored chicken, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's all about the flavor. So I started the show to really show people how to, you know, eat differently, because I would have clients and I'm talking about certain foods they haven't heard of, and I'm like, well, maybe if I can show you, it creates less of a hurdle. So it really shows short segments, show you how to make really healthy dishes using whole foods, not processed foods, but using healthy plant-based foods that taste great. You know, like I do tempeh sloppy joes, I do nut tacos.
Oh, wow.
We do banana cream pudding. All kinds of good stuff.
What about cake and cupcakes?
We can do that too. Yes, you can do that. Those are treats, you know, and you can use better sugar like coconut sugar and things like that. You can use dates and coconut nectar to make things sweet. So yeah, there are ways to do healthier versions of pretty much everything. And this is a quick way to give you ideas and to show you how to do it. So now you know what dulse is. You know, it's a seaweed. So here's how to make something taste a little fishy. We'll use a seaweed to do that.
Okay, and how has your response been since doing the show?
It's been great. I get people all the time saying how much it's helped them, and they love the recipes. And people who take my menu plans, sometimes they can go and watch the video to learn how to make it. I've got nothing but positive response from it, and it's helped a lot of people transition to a plant-based and just get ideas. Like, I never thought about that, you know, that you could do cheese from cashews, or that you could do buffalo cauliflower wings, you know.
Now, I've heard about that. Now, is that good? Like, what's the difference? People are like, and then I've seen people make buffalo cauliflower steak. I'm like, that's not steak. Like,
it's not. Yeah, cauliflower steaks are really cutting it really thick. It doesn't taste like meat per se, but it tastes really good. It gives you, it's reminiscent, because when you like have buffalo chicken wings, it's really all in the sauce, right?
That's true.
And so the buffalo cauliflower has a good texture, and they kind of look like it, the florets, and you bake it with the batter, and it tastes great. And you use the same vegan dipping sauce, and
of course,
you know, you have your celery and carrots just like you would a plate of wings, except you're not getting a plate of saturated fat, cholesterol, toxins, and hormones. You're getting a plate of antioxidants, fiber, nutrients, you know, calcium, other things that are good for you, so you don't have to feel guilty about it. So you can eat a half a plate of cauliflower and not be like, oh, now let me go down and fall asleep.
Right.
Because I just ate a bunch of stuff.
Okay, so what about wine? You know, by people that love to have the drinks with the meat, now they're having a buffalo cauliflower. Like, so what alcoholic substance would you recommend that's the healthiest?
I would say in moderation. You know, red wine, low in sulfites. So if you get organic, you don't get as many sulfites in it.
They have organic wine?
They do. They do. Yeah. And so that would be better. It's not an everyday thing. We shouldn't be having a glass of wine every day, because alcohol does affect the immune system, not in a positive way. So as a splurge every now and then, red wine wouldn't be a big deal.
Okay. What about whites?
Whites are fine too. You just get more out of red wine, but whites are fine too.
Okay, and then you have a new book coming in September. Stop playing.
Yes.
Go vegan. I love the cover. I love the red, of course.
Yes.
So what made you choose that title, and what is the book about, and why people need to get the book?
It is about really kind of waking people up. Look, you've heard about it. You know this type of diet and lifestyles out there. Give it a try, because we need to stop having these chronic diseases and dying early.
Yeah.
And here's how. Here's some good recipes that are going to show you how to do it so that you're happy, you're feeling good, and you have your favorite comfort foods that are also healthy. So it's really to get people's attention to say, come on, you know, give it a try, and here's how.
And how long did the book take you, like, to put together?
It's been a while, because, I've made these recipes over the years, so it's really about just pulling them together and categorizing them in areas that, like, here's recipes that are going to boost your immune system, here are recipes that are going to nourish your thyroid, and so really pulling it together. So it's been a long process, but finally getting there.
And now, is it your first one?
It is.
It is?
Yes.
Okay, so you're way, way overdue. Yes. I'm very excited. And so how many pages, like?
It's about 100 recipes.
Okay.
So,
and people can read it online?
Yeah, they'll be able to download it, Kindle, Apple, all of that. So yeah, just stay tuned. They can check my website. We'll be announcing it, having a launch party and all that good stuff.
Oh, yay!
So, yeah.
So, as we wrap up, tell people, if you could give advice for anybody, for what they heard today as far as watching their eating, what would be the number one advice would you give someone?
I would say first have an open mind and educate yourself on why you would want to switch your diet, and then get some resources. Before you jump in, find some support of, I'm going to use these type of recipes, or I'm going to buy this new meat substitute from the store. Have a plan, have some support, and then go for it.
Okay. So can you tell the world where they can find and connect with you at?
Sure. They can connect on my website at rubylathon.com. So it's RUBYLATHON.com. I'm on Instagram, RubyL, Twitter, all of that. So you can find me on all social media. Just put my name in, Ruby Lathon, and you will find me. Okay,
and you guys definitely have to check out the Veggie Chest, because I'm going to check it out. And when I have my buffalo cauliflower, I'm going to tell you how great it tastes. And it's going to taste better than a steak. So thank you, Dr. Ruby, so much for coming on my show. It means a lot. I see you doing big things for our culture. You keep pushing, you keep moving forward, and I see nothing but great things for you guys. Make sure you check out Dr. Ruby. I'm Kat Harvey.
You.
Thank you.